And we'll start with the two guys that I could see, Dasher and then Jordan Hill.
Right. Hey, Coach, good to see you today.
You too.
What kind of things have you looked for in practice the past couple of days to see that your team is focused on what's ahead starting tomorrow night?
Well, you said it, focus, overall approach, intensity level, excitement, attitude. It's been very good. We just literally just now walked off the floor and we were as sharp as we've been. That said, I thought we were just as sharp going into the last couple. Came up on the short end, of course. It'd be very discouraging, especially having lost a few in a row. Had we shown up yesterday and or today with a decrease, in the overall spirit and aura in the gym, and we certainly have not seen that. So I'm excited about another opportunity tomorrow. I think our guys are, again, had a good one today. Look forward to getting in the arena tonight and shooting.
Quick follow-up if I can, Coach. I know the last time you played LSU, Carey and Carrio, I think combined for like 12 points in that one. I know obvious deal that got a little bit better this one for y'all to have a chance tomorrow.
Absolutely. Yeah, we've got to do a better job defensively. We've got to make a shot. We've just been really struggling shooting the basketball, and that's we changed up our routine here, our 1 day out routine from what we normally do, and went really short just now, and we'll go a little bit longer in the arena tonight and get a ton of shots. It would be strictly shooting for 40 straight minutes, hopefully in an effort to convert at a higher level, especially from three. But we need those guys to make shots, of course. We need them to be confident. At times, both Carrio and Terry have performed at a very high level this season. And obviously, if you hope to advance in a conference tournament, you need your better players, especially your better offensive players, to find themselves in a good rhythm.
Mike, when you look at the losing streak to end the regular season, what do you feel like were the consistent issues that were game to game during that losing streak?
Well, first off, it was the schedule, as we continue to talk about. It started with two road games against some of the better teams in the country. Arkansas now is playing at a really, really high level. Obviously, Alabama's arguably the best team in the country, or in a conversation. Both those teams, I think, have a chance to go to the Final Four. So it really comes down to the next three. You got Missouri coming in as an NCAA tournament team, and I thought we were really competitive there for a while. And had a letdown there defensively where they made some shots, and emotionally we just did not respond to that level of adversity. Excuse me. Could it have been different if we weren't coming off the two that we were specifically, coming off of? Yeah, potentially it could have been a little bit different, but we're coming off two tough, ugly L's on the road. And that Missouri game, I thought it carried over a little bit into that one, especially defensively in the second half. And then we've had two in a row where it's a little bit different, chances to win. And we're just really struggling to shoot the basketball with a bunch of open looks, a bunch of quality looks. I should say you never overly wide open in this league, it being an incredibly prolific defensive league. But I think we've lost some confidence offensively, and obviously not converting from two in a row where you're not getting much better looks than that. And we've just got to be able to convert. We've got to snap out of it. Hopefully we can make a few early to get us going, to get us some offensive momentum, especially with making jump shots. We have to make jump shots. This team needs to make jump shots to have success.
As a quick follow-up, what would constitute a successful SEC tournament in your mind?
Oh, it's a great question. It's a bigger picture question that I hadn't considered. I'd like to play well. I'd like to play really hard with a lot of pride and passion tomorrow night at 9:30. Hopefully with an improved level of confidence offensively, and stay connected for 40 minutes and just see where it goes from there.
Next, we'll go to Chip Towers, followed by Mark Weiser.
Yeah, Coach. Obviously, we've all learned what's going on there at Stegman Coliseum. I'm assuming the goal is still to go up there in Nashville and win enough games so you can come back and maybe play an NIT. How problematic has that situation been, and how do you plan on sort of navigating that deal? As recruiting ramps up here pretty soon.
Yeah, honestly, Chip, I hadn't put a lot of thought to it. I've got the utmost confidence in our leadership here in our administration, and they'll do what it takes to to fix the problem, to navigate the issues and evaluate and make the right decisions moving forward. What I know, and I was told a few days ago we wouldn't be able to practice at Stegman. We normally don't practice in there anyway, so it's just we've been practicing here upstairs. Stay in the course. That's it. Our focus has just been on LSU and the SEC tournament.
If I could follow up briefly, I don't. Your style as a motivator. Georgia goes in there and wins this thing in 2008. There's been a lot of times lower seed or higher seed, whichever way you want to look at it, surprises people, makes a run in this thing. Do you share those instances with the team from a historical perspective? Show some video or around the country of tourney time and crazy things happening?
You just finished with crazier things have happened, and that's literally the term or the phrase that I used yesterday in the locker room. Along with anything can happen come conference tournament time. We're capable. Stranger things have happened. All of those things. The 08 team, was it 08? Is that right, Mobs? Yeah, 08.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I had a first row seat as an assistant at Ole Miss.
I remember that.
Admittedly, I had the scout as well. I want to say our last game was a win in Stegman, and we were on the bubble and really needing that win. And Dave Bliss hit the bank shot at the buzzer, which led to an awful weekend for us, having to bus home to Oxford and watch the rest of the tournament. By the end of the weekend, and that staff, that Georgia staff from that year, I've communicated clearly to those guys over the years that, when they knock you out and they had some adversity going on, and they were, there's some good guys and a good staff. I know I found myself later on that weekend, Saturday, Sunday, rooting hard for the Bulldogs to come through. It was a heck of a story. Unbelievable tournament run by Sunday at Gaines and the crew. We planned actually on sharing some of that tonight with our guys.
Thanks, Coach.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Mike, I'm kind of following up one of the Chip questions in terms of the effects of whenever your season ends and recruiting, showing your facilities. How does that impact things with Stegman? I mean, is that part of your presentation to them usually?
Yeah, definitely. It always is, and we're proud of Stegman, and it's when I've only been here a year, obviously not even a year yet, but if we've missed on a recruit, it hasn't been because of Stegman. And there's facility upgrades throughout the country in college athletics and all different types of sports and maintenance and all those things. And some of those things are out of our control. If they tell us, hey, we can't walk in there, we can't walk in there. We'll pivot and figure out what we got to do next. Again, I got confidence in our leadership that we'll figure it out. And all that said is, in addition, I thought we had a great environment this year at home. Our home games were loud and electric, and the attendance was terrific. And we look forward to continuing to build a home court advantage in the future, and really look forward to the the realignment of the seating and even an increased environment next season.
I want to ask you about this team, going forward. What do you see as building blocks in terms of your roster? I know rosters, are very fluid in college basketball these days.
Yeah.
But, your takeaway from year one, I know it's not over, but as you pivot eventually and you try to build your roster, or how does that look? Who do you build around?
Well, the guys that have remaining eligibility that want to come back, and throughout conversations after every season, decisions are made, whether they're mutual or on one side or another. And so we'll get there in time, and it's our motivation as a staff and a challenge to our guys. We have these conversations pretty regularly, especially early season and mid season. And by the time you're mid to late January, you can stop having the conversation. But those conversations about, hey, let's stay the course. When the ball stops bouncing for this team, for this current team, and this current team is done playing for one another, everyone in this locker room is going to have options, and they're going to have opportunities to have discussion and conversation about what the next step is. And we're not there yet. We've got basketball ahead of us. We're ready for tomorrow night. We're excited about 9:30 again, tipping it up against the Bayou Bengals and see where this thing goes. But those conversations will take place, and there's plenty of guys to build around for sure. And we like the character of this team. We like the growth of this team. This team's come a long way. Obviously, we've had some adversity here lately, but we continue to work. And we've got some guys certainly that we can build around. It's just a matter of what's best for each individual in that locker room when that time comes.
Thank you.
Next, go to Palmer Toms and then finish up with Sam Higgs.
Yeah, Mike, when you're preparing for a tournament like this, where the goal is obviously to play more than just the one game that you've got lined up already, how do you go about balancing preparing for LSU, working on yourself, and looking ahead to the opponents that could be down the line?
With us, and to each his own, but with us, it's very simple. We're not 100% of it's going into LSU, period. I say 100%, I'm lying. 100% that's communicated to the team. We've got an assistant coach who is working ahead to a certain extent on that second opponent. But what is being communicated to our guys over the past 48 hours and over the next 24 will strictly be LSU.
Hey, Coach, I just wanted to know what you expect to see from the Tigers tomorrow.
A good team. And I know records, and I understand all that. We beat 3 NCAA tournament teams, and we've dropped a few in a row here. I mean, this is a really, really hard league. LSU was, if I'm not mistaken, 12-1 at one point, having beat Arkansas, who was a top 10 team in the country at the time, who's again now playing like a top 10 team, in my opinion. They've played a ridiculously grueling SEC schedule. I would assume, I haven't looked at the numbers, but it's got to be as difficult as any schedule that's been played in our league this year. And obviously we're a league that's going to get at least 8 teams in. So they've been very competitive. They've showed a lot of resiliency. They've got guys that can make shots. They've got a mismatched nightmare in KJ. He's one of the better players in our league, of course. They're good. They're good. I mean, we're going to have to play better than we have in these last few.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, guys.
I'll be back in a minute with